Welcome to LSC. It's Sports Time. I'm your host, Bob Hintz. Today I have with me Phoebus girls basketball coach David Brooks. Welcome.
Thank you, Bob.
Glad to have you here. Now, you didn't grow up on the peninsula. You grew up in a neighboring place. Whereabouts?
Gastonia, North Carolina, south side of Charlotte, North Carolina.
Okay, so you Carolina boy to come on up here. We get a lot of Carolina people, and
Yes.
of course I came from Iowa to get down here. But you started playing sports young age, just like everybody else. You know, you wanted to play everything, and you did.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Talk about what you were playing, and when did you start?
I started in about third grade. I played football, basketball, ran track, played baseball, little t-ball, just about everything.
Right.
For the Boys and Girls Club in Gastonia, North Carolina.
Now, did they have a good recreation program down there for you guys?
The rec typically controlled basketball, but we had Pop Warner football, and I played Pop Warner football growing up all the way until junior high school.
Okay. Now, what position did you play in basketball?
In basketball, I was a small forward in basketball.
Okay.
Pretty
Were
much.
you were aggressive?
Definitely aggressive. That's the way I grew up playing, as aggressive, especially on the defensive end.
Right. Yeah, but football, were you a receiver and running back? Or?
Well, when I was young, I pretty much played everything: center, quarterback, running back, tailback.
Wherever you could get on the field.
Wherever I could play at.
Oh, that's good. Now, track, I assume you were a sprinter.
No, well, actually, I was a sprinter young, but by the time I got to high school, I was a hurdler and a long jumper and a high jumper.
Well, see, now that's more technique.
Yes.
To doing the long jump and the hurdler.
Yes.
I mean, you guys got to work a long time
Yes.
on the technique, because I know going over a hurdle, you want to be as close to that hurdle.
Yes.
Because you don't want air.
Yes.
You want to get back down on the ground fast.
Yes.
So, did you have a coach that really worked good with you on that? And what were some of the techniques that you used?
My middle school coach, Mr. Ken Howell, or my junior high school coach, Mr. Ken Howell, he's in the Basketball North Carolina Hall of Fame right now. He coached everything when I was in junior high school. He was a football coach, the basketball coach, the baseball coach, the track coach. He drove the bus for us for all of the events. I mean, he did it all, and he really focused on fundamentals when I was young, and I can really remember a lot of the stuff that he taught me. It carried me all the way through college and everything,
Right.
all the sports I participated in.
Okay, now you played all the sports in junior high, and then you got to high school.
Yes, sir.
And you were playing football, and it went out for basketball.
Went out for basketball.
And went up for a layup.
I got undercut, and I came down on my left arm, and I broke my left elbow and fractured my wrist all at the same time.
Wow. So that kind of ended up the basketball.
Yeah, I just kind of fell back from basketball and just stuck with football and track.
Football and track. And you still were doing the hurdling and the high jumping. Well, that had to help you with your footwork and everything, and football and everything. You had a lot of carryover skills, right?
Yes, I definitely agree. Like you said, it's a lot of technique with the triple jump, the high jump, and the hurdles that you can use pretty much just footwork, period, on any sport that you
Right.
participate in.
Now, as you're coaching, you find that you're able to impart that to some of the girls, because I had one of the assistant girls over at Hampton.
Okay.
She did ballet.
Oh, really?
And she said that footwork really
yeah.
helped her in basketball.
Definitely.
And I said, well, I can see where it would.
Yes.
Because, you want to be fleet of foot. And
Yes. Yes, sir.
Evelyn Lewis, and you met Evelyn the other night when you were playing. We'll talk a little bit about that game, too. Then you went on to high school, and you were a two-way starter in football.
Yes, sir.
Talk about that, because you don't see that so much anymore. Occasionally you get a good athlete,
yes.
like the Ronald Currys and the
Yes.
Tyrod Taylors. They'll play safety and then quarterback. But
Yeah.
normally you're not a two-way starter.
Yeah, normally you're not. I happen to be blessed enough to play wide receiver and cornerback, and I was a special teams punt returner and kickoff returner, so I really didn't come off the field a lot. I actually played quarterback until I broke my arm. When I broke my arm, I kind of fell back from the quarterback position. And,
Yeah, a little hard to play
just
quarterback with one arm.
Definitely is.
Then you graduated.
Yes, sir.
You went to, when you were in high school, you guys won some conference championships.
Yes, we did. It was called the Mega 7 Conference, and I was from a county called Gaston County, which is right outside of Mecklenburg County. And my high school and another high school called Hunter Huss, where Sleepy Floyd went to, were the only two high schools that were not in the Mecklenburg County or the Charlotte conferences, such as the West Charlottes, the Independence High School,
Right.
and the West Mech schools of that nature. But we used to do pretty good against those schools, and we won the conference championship my junior and my senior year.
What size of school did you come out of?
It was a 4A high school, which was the largest in the state of North Carolina. Back then, I think the sizes have changed, but we were around 1,600, 1,700 as far as in my county.
School.
Yeah, it
so
was
how
a
many did you
big
have
school.
in your class?
I think we had about 800 in our class.
Wow.
You know, my senior year. The junior, we were 10th, 11th, and 12th grade, so it was
Right.
the junior high concept. So the 3 classes were pretty big.
Well,
during
yeah,
that time.
if you're going to have 1,600,
Yeah.
you're going to have big classes. Well, then you got recruited.
Uh-huh.
Talk a little bit about the recruiting process.
Well, I was getting recruited by Johnson C. Smith out of Charlotte, a little bit by North Carolina A&T, which is Division I AA school, and Fayetteville State University, which is in Fayetteville, North Carolina. I had a couple coaches come visit me. Went to a couple games during the basketball season at A&T, and a couple football games. Johnson C. Smith was the easiest to reach, but I settled on Fayetteville State University. They had a program that was starting over, a new coach. His name was Jim Toon, and he was a Hall of Fame football player back in the 60s at North Carolina A&T. I felt comfortable with the new program that they were starting, and felt like I had an opportunity
Right.
to make an impact by going to Fayetteville State.
Oh, fantastic. Well, you redshirted the first year,
Yes, sir.
and then you played 4 years,
Yes, sir.
strictly offense.
Strictly
no more two-way starter.
Wide receiver and special teams, kickoff return, punt
But
return.
you had some pretty good things happen to you. Then you made
Yeah.
Player of the Week
Yes.
a couple times
Yes.
as a special teams
Yeah, kick returner.
kick returner.
Uh-huh.
Now the hurdler, did you hurdle people?
Oh, no, I gave up.
Can you
I left,
see that every now and then?
Yeah, I can. I left track in high school. I stopped hurling. I left that behind. And I just stuck with football.
But the skills you learned, you were
Definitely.
able to keep with you and do all that. That was good. So that had to be quite an honor. Now, how is that picked? That's the CIAA.
Yes, yes.
How do they pick the players? Do you know what the process is?
It was based on my stats. In 2 games, I know 1 game up at Bowie State. I returned 2 kickoffs. I had over about 150 yards just on special teams, and I received Player of the Week that way. So it was based off of stats.
Wow.
Weekly
but
stats.
I mean, that means not only you did a good job, but you had guys set up the wall for
Yes,
you and do,
yes.
you know, everything works perfect when you run one of those backs. Then you get you graduate, and what did you get your degree in?
I got my degree in history, well, my minor in physical education. So I got my BA in history and minor in physical ed.
Okay. Then you stayed down in North Carolina.
Yes.
Went to Spring Lakes.
I taught at Spring Lake Middle School in 2004 down in North Carolina, and actually coached pretty much everything there, football, basketball, and track there.
Did you have an inkling when you were in high school and college that may be where you would go, that you would like to get into coaching?
I did. When I was in middle school and even high school, I could actually see myself being a coach then, and I used to, you know, I have friends now that say that, you know, they knew that it was possible for me to do so, and that's what I'm doing now. It's what I love. It's what I enjoy.
Okay. But you didn't stay down in North Carolina. You had a friend that was up here in Hampton, so you
Yes.
come up,
Yes.
changed directions, went north.
Yes, just
Came
one-
to Virginia. I'm glad to have you here.
Thank you.
Talk a little bit about that process. What sold you on Hampton or the Tidewater area?
Just like you just said, the water. I'm always a boy who loved to swim, on top of playing all of the sports that I played, and really enjoy being around the water. Like I said, I had a friend, like you said, I had a friend who lived here. He invited me up. I used to come visit him pretty often. He said they were having a job fair, and I took advantage of it.
Hey.
Got interviewed by Mrs. Carol Mann. I think her husband used to coach at
Know Carol
Hampton
very
High School.
well.
Yeah, and,
Elvis was
at
over
Hampton.
Hampton High forever.
Yes,
30-some years.
Mrs. Mann gave me my first teaching position at Lindsay in
That's
2005.
when she was the principal over
yes,
there. Right.
and I've been at Lindsay ever since.
So you got up here, and what year was that?
That was 2005.
2005. So you've been on the peninsula and at Lindsay the whole time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So while you were over at Lindsay, you helped do some coaching.
Yes, sir.
and coached some kids that went on and won the state championship at Hampton.
Yes, I did.
We're
Yes,
talking
I did.
about Cameron Trey Perry, for example.
Anthony
Barber, the cat.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Big cat.
So that had to be quite an experience to see that you had a hand in the development of those young guys going on to college, going on to high school, win a state championship.
And now in college.
And now in college.
Yes, sir. It was an experience just to see those guys grow and develop young. I can honestly say I saw a lot of potential in those boys early, and definitely happy and proud to see them live up to the potential thus far with them, especially Anthony being a freshman at NC State this year.
Okay, now you went over to Bethel?
I coached at Bethel for JV girls for 3 years prior to this season.
All right, and then the job at Phoebus opens.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And you had to go, you had to interview.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Talk a little bit about the interview process.
Went through the interview process with the AD, Mrs. Brown, Deanna Brown, and Mr. William Beverly over there at Bethel. At
yeah, nobody
Phoebus.
said Bethel.
Yes,
because that's where he went to high school.
Yes, it is over at Phoebus, and felt real comfortable. You know, in the interview, it was real, laid back and straightforward, and just pretty much felt down to earth. Felt like home. Felt like home being in.
Well, evidently they saw something in you, what you were bringing to the program. We're going to talk a little bit about this. So this is your first year. So let's talk a little bit about your team. I got to see you team. I think it was the second time I've got to see him the other night. You played Hampton, I was impressed that your girls were not intimidated. Because you look at the Hampton High School team, not only tall, they got two Division I girls, one going to Temple, one going to HU. So, it's easy for your girls to get kind of
intimidated,
but they didn't.
No, they didn't. They didn't. That's one thing that I try to pride myself on as a coach. Once that ball goes up or the whistle blows, it's anybody's game. If you come out and you play hard and you do the little things that mean the most, anything can happen on any given day. Right.
Well, talk a little bit about your team, because I know you got a young team. You started a freshman underneath, but you got a little point guard that's a sophomore.
Yes.
He's got a sweet shot.
Yes, I do.
You guys, is threes part of your, is that part of your philosophy? Especially when they're in the zone like that?
Definitely. Part of my philosophy is, I like kids to play with confidence and shoot with confidence. And I feel like if you have an open jump shot, you should take an open jump shot. You should shoot confidently and you should play confidently. And in my mind, the bad shot that's taken is the open jump shot that's not taken. I can settle
the one that wasn't taken, it should have been taken.
Yes, that's correct.
Well, talk a little bit about your team. Name your starters.
Oh, I have two seniors that are starting. Brianna Edwards, she's a one guard and a two guard, a combination guard. I have the next senior is Kiara Bowens. I believe they've been starting there for about 3 years. This is my first year there. She's definitely a shooter, Kiara Bowens. I have a center, or as I say, power forward, Maria Scrivens. She's a junior. I believe this is her second year starting. She's been starting since about 10th grade. Definitely a force inside the middle. And I started a freshman. Her name is Jamaica Carby, 9th grader. She can get off the floor with the best of them. She's quick as lightning, reads and reacts very well in the post. And a 10th grader that I started at point guard against Hampton, her name is Kiana Artis, and she definitely is a shooter and can be, in years to come.
And when I saw her out there, because we had Vini in here, who played, Michelle Vini played at Phoebus, and she was just a little old thing, and then I look out there and you got another little old girl, but I just love it. I like little jitterbugs out there. They're just all over the floor and just. But you could see that the confidence of your girls, and that they did well, and that they had a rough spot, but they ended up playing these, lost a game, but you had to be pleased with what you saw in the growth.
I definitely was. We sat back and watched the tape the day after the game, and playing against 2 6-footers that one has already signed a D1 scholarship, being Hampton, and another one that probably will be signing one within the next year. We ended up with 42 rebounds against those girls. So, considering we were outmatched as far as inside the paint, I think we held our well pretty on.
Okay, we're going to kind of wrap this up. This has been great. I'm kind of glad to get to know you a little bit, but I want you to tell me what you bring to the program at Phoebus, what the girls are going to get from you, what you're going to bring to that whole Phoebus family?
Okay, I think I bring definitely dedication, a tenacity about myself as a coach, and definitely intensity and desire for girls to confide in and believe in the fundamental things that it takes to win the basketball games, just the little things and just the fundamental things it takes to be successful in life. Me as an educator, of course, I feel like I know that it starts in the classroom. You have to have success in the classroom to be successful on the court or on the field, and we do have that over there at Phoebus. A lot of my girls, the majority out of 12 players, 10 of them have a 3.0 or better. So we are being successful off the court, and that just makes my job that much easier for them to help them and drive them in the right direction and be successful on the court.
I appreciate you coming in.
No problem.
Thank you for tuning in to LSC and Sports Time. I want to thank my special guest, David Brooks. I'm your host, Bob Hintz. Till next time.
Hello, my name is Michelle Vinny, and I'm a former Phoebus High School girls basketball player, currently a math teacher at Sims Middle School, and the head JV basketball coach for girls at Kickintan High School. You're watching LSC, all sports, all the time.